The Crucifixion. The most heartbreaking moment ever told. The sky did not darken by accident. It dimmed, as if creation itself could not bear to watch what was about to happen. A man stood condemned, bloodied, silent, surrounded by noise that felt cruelly ordinary. Soldiers laughed, crowds shouted, religious leaders watched with folded arms. Rome carried out another execution, but heaven knew this was no ordinary death. This was the moment history had been leaning toward since the fall of humanity. Before we go any further, like this video, share it with someone who needs to remember the depth of God's love, and subscribe to the Bible Project for more cinematic Bible stories brought to life. What you are about to witness is not just the story of suffering. It is the collision of justice and mercy, the unveiling of love through pain, and once you truly see what happened at the crucifixion, you will never look at the cross the same way again. The road to Golgotha was not paved. It was carved by footsteps heavy with exhaustion. Jesus had already been awake all night, betrayed with a kiss, abandoned by friends, dragged through trials that violated both Roman law and Jewish custom. He had been mocked, struck, spat upon, a crown of thorns pressed into his scalp, not symbolically, but brutally. Blood ran into his eyes as soldiers knelt in fake worship, laughing at the idea of a suffering king. Then they placed the crossbeam on his shoulders. Wood scraped against torn flesh. Every step sent pain through his body like fire. And yet, Scripture tells us something astonishing. He did not open his mouth in protest. The one who spoke galaxies into existence chose silence. Not because he was powerless, but because he was willing. Isaiah had seen this centuries earlier. He was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The mystery of the crucifixion begins here. Jesus is not a victim of circumstance. He is not trapped by Rome. He is not overpowered by men. He is walking towards something he fully understands. Golgotha, the place of the skull, a hill used for executions, a public warning, a place where Rome reminded the world who held power. Nails were not driven gently. They were hammered with efficiency, iron through flesh, bone rattling with each strike. The cross was lifted upright, and gravity did the rest, pulling his body downward, stretching wounds wider, stealing breath slowly. Crucifixion was designed not to kill quickly, but to prolong suffering. Victims died inch by inch, breath by breath. To inhale, Jesus had to push against the nails in his feet. To exhale, he had to pull against the nails in his wrists. Every breath was paid for with pain, and yet he spoke. "Father, forgive them," he said, "for they do not know what they are doing." Forgiveness was not an afterthought. It was the reason he was there. Above his head, a sign was nailed: Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. It was meant as mockery, a warning, a joke at his expense. But heaven read it differently. This was not irony. It was truth proclaimed by enemies who did not understand what they were declaring. On either side of him hung two criminals. One joined the crowd in mockery. The other, broken and honest, turned his head and whispered, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Welifam. Jesus answered him with words that still echo through eternity. "Today, you will be with me in paradise." Even here dying, suffocating, bleeding, Jesus was still saving. Then something changed. At midday, the sun went dark. Not an eclipse, not weather. Scripture is clear. Darkness covered the land. For 3 hours, creation mourned. The earth trembled. The sky hid its face. This was not merely physical darkness. It was spiritual weight. On the cross, Jesus carried more than nails and wood. He carried sin, not symbolically, not vaguely. Scripture says he who knew no sin became sin for us. Every betrayal, every lie, every act of violence, every hidden shame, the full weight of human rebellion pressed onto one sinless soul. And for the first time in eternity, something unimaginable happened. Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" This was not despair. It was quotation. Psalm 22, a prophecy written 1,000 years earlier, was unfolding in real time. The Son experienced separation so that humanity would never have to. The Father did not abandon the Son in hatred, but allowed him to step into the full cost of sin. This is the heart of the crucifixion. Love absorbing justice, mercy satisfying wrath. God paying the debt humanity could never repay. As death drew near, Jesus looked down and saw his mother. Mary, who once held him as a baby, now watched him die as a criminal. No words could ease that pain. Still, Jesus provided for her, entrusting her care to John. Even in agony, he thought of others. Then he spoke again. "It is finished. Not I am finished. It is finished." In the original language, the word means paid in full. The debt of sin, the separation between God and man, the curse spoken in Eden, all of it completed in one moment. He bowed his head, and he breathed his last. At that instant, the earth shook violently. Rocks split, graves opened, and inside the temple, something even more shocking occurred. The veil, a massive curtain, thick, heavy, separating the Holy of Holies from the rest of humanity, was torn in two. Not from bottom to top, from top to bottom. God tore it. The barrier between himself and humanity was gone. Access was no longer limited to priests, rituals, or sacrifices. Through the crucified Christ, humanity could now draw near. A Roman centurion, hardened, unmoved by death, looked up at Jesus and said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." Even Rome recognized what religion had missed. The crucifixion did not look like victory. It looked like defeat. Hope appeared buried. Disciples scattered. Silence followed. But what looked like the end was only the middle of the story, because 3 days later, the tomb would be empty. The crucifixion matters because resurrection power flows from it. There is no Easter without Good Friday, no crown without the cross, no forgiveness without sacrifice. This is why the crucifixion is the most heartbreaking moment ever told, not because of the pain alone, but because of the love behind it. Love that stayed when it could have left. Love that endured when it could have destroyed. Love that chose nails instead of angels. So what does this mean for us today? It means suffering is not proof of God's absence. It means forgiveness is always possible. It means no sin is too heavy for grace. It means the cross stands as an eternal declaration. You are worth dying for. The crucifixion is not a story meant to end in sorrow. It is a doorway into hope. A reminder that when humanity gave its worst, God gave his best. And that is why the cross still stands. If this story stirred your heart, reminded you of God's love, or helped you see the cross more clearly, stay with us. Subscribe to the Bible Project for more cinematic journeys into Scripture, because the Bible is not just history, it is the story of redemption.